Welcome to Out of the Office. I'm your host, Kaylin Spickler, bringing you ideas for your next Out of the Office adventure.
You've got to get that bird's eye view of the valley.
Off the couch and away from video games.
If there was one event I would keep inventing, this is the baby.
Got a few things in store.
Every month, we sit down with business owners, regional experts, and everyday people to talk about all there is to offer in the Roanoke region.
That's the thing, right? Like, there's always so much fun stuff to cover on a podcast.
My favorite day.
They're having a blast.
We are loving it.
On this month's episode of Out of the Office, Alex North and I start the conversation to talk about all things park recreation and tourism, and then we bring on guests Kelly Brammer and Emma Lehman to talk about special events happening in the tourism sector of Roanoke County Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. Alex, welcome.
Thanks as always for having me, Kaylin. Looking forward to what we got to talk to today and, introducing our two folks in our tourism department, Kelly and Emma.
Yes, absolutely. And before we get into all of that, we do have big news.
Which is, drum roll.
Drum roll. Out of the Office won the Gold Award for Best Podcast.
Let's go.
Yes.
So exciting. So exciting.
Yes. Thank you to the Roanoker Magazine for putting on those awards. I know there was a record number of just submissions. So thank you to all of them for reading those and highlighting all the great things happening in the region. Of course, thank you to Roanoke Valley Television for producing the award-winning podcast.
Whoop whoop RVTV.
And then, of course, thank you to you for being the best regular guest ever.
I appreciate that. No, it's been really fun to, really start this journey with you and RVTV and, really having a vision for our podcast, because when I'm in the car, at least it's either listening to my playlist or a podcast. So it's really cool to, be able to, kind of find yourself out there on Spotify. It's really interesting.
Yes.
I've told some of my buddies about it, and they're like, man, that's actually pretty cool. You're on a podcast. I'm like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah. If you Google your name, a Spotify link will pop up probably. I haven't tried it.
I haven't either, but, it's been really cool. It's been really fun, highlight everything going on that we have, not only in Roanoke County, but I know through this journey you've touched on not just stuff going on in Parks and Rec or libraries, but really been able to showcase, what the county has going on and some of our regional partners as well.
Absolutely. I think that's been the most fun part for me is meeting so many different people and hearing so many different stories and just advice from small business owners to also crazy stories that we've been able to share.
Yeah, it's been great to listen to because, it's one of those things, it is kind of weird hearing yourself on a podcast, but it's one of those things to where, you pick up different things and different insights and, maybe it's a different lens that you might not have seen something for or seen something through, but it's been really cool to, be on this ride and, you're award winning.
We are award winning. And so with that, thank you, of course, to the Board of Supervisors and Administration for allowing us to go through with this fun idea. And of course, to the Public Information Office as a whole. And then, of course, I keep saying of course, but I mean, there's just so many people have made this possible. So thank you to the listeners and the people who nominated us for this award.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see, as I mentioned, it's been really cool to be on this ride and this journey with you through the podcast and looking forward to, what the future holds with Out of the Office.
Yes, I hear there is a fun season 2 in store.
Yep. We'll see. Looking forward to that coming up in the next few months.
Yes. So I guess we'll get right to it then. What is happening at Parks, Recreation, and Tourism? I think I should be saying in Parks, Recreation, and Tourism.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
So basically, summer's here. Mm-hmm. We're kicking off Splash Valley operations this weekend. Memorial Day weekend's here, so it's really the start of summer for our department. So with Splash Valley opening, we're open Thursday through Sunday, which is what we've been open the past few years, and we've seen about 30,000 folks last year. So, we're going to try to hit that mark, fingers crossed, on some good weather this year. And, we're looking forward to, getting those people out recreating outside and enjoying some time in the water at Splash Valley. And it's been really cool to see all different folks come and enjoy that every year because, we have our Friday morning swim club, which is with some of our local summer camps and different groups who come. Some of those kids get to visit the water park a little bit earlier than we open. And then, all of our summer campers, which we'll touch on in a little bit, almost all of our summer campers in our KIC program, Kids in Camp, and then some of our Camp Roanoke campers get to go to Splash Valley as well. So it's really cool to serve that many folks in the region, and it's been pretty cool to be a part of Splash Valley. And season passes are on sale as well. We still have some left where folks can really save in advance. So it's $99 to purchase a season pass, and you get 10% off concessions the whole summer.
Oh wow. And is that for a family of just any amount?
Yeah, so it's individual passes.
Okay.
So it really pays for itself depending on whether you're an adult, child, or senior, depending on the daily admission rate will depend on how many times. It takes about 7-8 times if you go to Splash Valley for that to really pay off. But we've seen a lot of our folks, we have some folks who come on the weekends, but we still have a good amount of folks who are coming, 2-3 days a week, even though it's a shorter weekly schedule of a season.
Yeah. Well, that's a fun resource, I think, that we have because it's not just going to the pool, it's going to the water park. And that was something I always really liked doing as a kid.
Yeah, it's something that, it's still kind of unique to the area. We have a few kind of splash pad areas locally in some parks, but, to actually go to a water park right off the interstate, conveniently located in the Roanoke Valley. And we do get some traffic from folks who, whether they're either on a summer vacation or visiting family here, where, they're able to do a treetop quest. They're able to come to a Splash Valley water park, for the day and, at a little bit of a cheaper rate than an amusement park or your typical water park would be. So it's really cool to see that being able to kick off operations this season. I know the staff has done a great job preparing the pool, preparing for their operations, and training kicked off last weekend with the whole team. And then they're looking forward to opening weekend this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be a big hit, and it looks like the weather is supposed to be good.
Fingers crossed.
Yes,
Fingers
knock on
crossed.
wood.
Yeah.
So what is next?
Yeah, so something else that we'll kind of reveal for the first time. If you've gotten our Rec Life brochure, you'll notice that we have a Play All Day VA event and kind of program that we're partnering with the Virginia Recreation and Park Society, VRPS. And it's a way to get folks outside on the summer solstice, which is Thursday, June 20th. And so what that day looks like is exactly what it says, Play All Day VA. So it's we're one of 40 agencies in the Parks and Rec world in the state to be participating. So what that looks like in Roanoke County is we'll have expanded hours of operation at Splash Valley Water Park and Treetop Quest. So Splash Valley will be open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then Treetop Quest will be open 10 a.m. with expanded hours to 7 p.m. that day. And then we also have some volunteer opportunities that day, because not only is it about getting out and playing, but also kind of giving back to the community and helping out in our parks. So our volunteer coordinators working with our event organizer on this, and we'll have more info on RoanokeCountyParks.com for some of those specific opportunities. But something like a river cleanup at Explore Park, or if some of our parks need some love or just need some TLC, maybe a mulching project or some painting and staining of some of the border rail or some of the fencing that is in the park, because it's a really interesting perspective for folks who do volunteer in our volunteer program. When you enter a park, you might not notice everything, but it's definitely kind of those little touches that a lot of our volunteers throughout the year that they're able to help us out with some of those maintenance needs. So the volunteer opportunities are a part of that day as well. And then we also have a morning yoga session at Brambleton Recreation Center and a paint night at Brambleton Recreation Center as well.
Oh, wow.
So really a jam-packed day full of fun, recreation, and playing outside in our parks.
And I like that it kind of bookends the morning and the evening over at Brambleton.
Exactly, yeah. And you're really outdoors for almost all those activities. Sun up that day, I can't remember what time it is, but it's probably right before 6.
Oh,
and
wow.
Then, longest day of the year.
Yeah.
So, in the past, we've gone to Mill Mountain, or, you go to some of the overlooks on the Parkway and kind of soak in the longest day of summer and sunlight. So it'll be really cool to see, being at Splash Valley right up till almost, probably after sunset, 9 o'clock, and then being at Treetop Quest almost going into those twilight zipline hours. But it's going to be really fun. We're excited to be part of that, and hopefully this is something that we can bring back in years to come, and while working with our partners at VRPS.
Yeah, that's definitely a day full of soaking up the daylight.
Yeah, for sure. And we're looking forward to that. And if anyone wants to look online, they can go to RoanokeCountyParks.com or follow our social media channels, Roco Parks on Instagram or Roanoke County Parks Recreation and Tourism on Facebook to learn more details.
Perfect. All right. So next on the agenda then.
Yeah, so of course I mentioned Rec Life. Those brochures are at all of our recreation facilities and all of our county facilities. The cover features Splash Valley Water Park because we're going to splash into the fun this summer. But then as you go through the brochure of offerings, we have our youth and family programs, some of our art programs that are coming up in our renovated space that opened up in February and March. So we're really utilizing some of those spaces for our upcoming art programs. Then we also have Nature's Classroom, which I've touched on a few times, and we have the summer lineup for that as well, which is our weekend programming at Explore Park. Some of them are paid programs, and most of them are free for that Nature's Classroom activity. We have nature hikes, nature education, and some different outdoor education and outdoor adventure programs there as well. So literally, we have everything from quilting, pottery, which the pottery studio, I know you've been there before.
Yes.
It's been really cool to see that space not only transform and be renovated, but it's full. I was over at Brambleton the other day, and there was the adult pottery class. I believe it's got 12 to 14 folks in it, and the space is being utilized, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
And kind of building that community and that camaraderie in our recreation programs is something that we love to see.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, and I'm glad to hear the studio is doing so well because that is such a cool offering, and of course, Gabby is great.
Yeah, our staff and our programmers, shout out to our programmers and our instructors because without them, we clearly wouldn't be offering the programs, and our programmers are doing a great job year-round, but summer's a really interesting, fun time because not only are we offering community recreation programs, but summer camps as well.
Yes. So speaking of summer camps,
Yeah.
we've alluded to summer camps already, but what can we have to look forward to?
So we have a little bit of everything. Right now, we've got a lot of our some camps are full and some are getting there. Right now, we have, of course, Camp Roanoke has the Discovery Program, which is a day camp for 2nd through 5th graders, rising 2nd to 5th graders. Some of those weeks are almost full. So if you have a 2nd to 5th grader who wants to be outside or, is wanting to kind of be outside in an outdoor learning environment, that's really great for them. And then we have a 6th and 7th grade program, Discovery Plus, for that as well. So that's anything from learning archery. We have a 40-foot high climbing tower, team building exercises for those kiddos, and some environmental education. And then if you're a 6th or 7th grader, they take a field trip to Treetop Quest each week. So that's a really cool camp that we have going on. There are still spots available for that. Of course, Kids in Camp, which I've mentioned, those campers get to go to Splash Valley on Fridays. So if you're part of that program, Rising 1st to 6th graders, we have 2 different locations. Green Ridge Recreation Center has some spots open, but our South County location, Cave Spring Elementary, a lot of those are sold out. So if you have a camper, you live on that side of town and it's sold out, you can go to our Green Ridge Recreation Center camps there. And that's really an all-day traditional summer camp where we have STEM activities, outdoor play. They have different field trips. Sometimes they go to the movies. They'll go to the skate center. They'll go to Treetop Quest, Splash Valley. So their whole week is really structured, and it's a great program, for the kiddos to enjoy some summer camp.
Yeah, and to enjoy a lot of different opportunities and activities in the area.
Yeah, it's a wide variety each week. Even though the basic schedule's the same, their field trips may be different. Some of their STEM activities may be different, and our programmers and our instructors are, doing a great job of keeping things fresh and kind of looking on what are some of the trends, especially with some of those STEM activities, whether it's focusing on some robotics or some different things like that. We have a lot of different offerings for kids of all ages.
Yeah, and I know when I was there this past summer, it was just really cool to see the camaraderie that is built in kind of just such a short amount of time, too.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool to see, like whether it's our pre-K enrichment campers who are there. Those are half-day camps, but some of the themes there we have some electronics for some of the older kids, but we have Bricks for Kids STEM classes, and we have some prestige gymnastics classes. But like those pre-K ones, seeing those little pre-K kids come in and learn about space adventures and learn about space. Or if they're a big fan of Bluey, we have a Bluey themed camp. So yeah, Miss Beatty and her staff are doing a great job, and they really enjoy seeing the kids, get to learn something new or really dive into something they're passionate about, even at a young age.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't realize all the different themes.
Yeah. The Bluey camp is going to be a hit for my kid.
Yeah.
Right now he's 18 months old. He loves Bluey. I love Bluey too, because if you haven't watched it, it's really something that's really cool, to see, the kids and parents really, loving something or, being able to watch something that's, family friendly and safe, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
So.
Well, very exciting. You guys are checking off all of the boxes as always.
Yeah, but then we can't forget about our athletics camps.
No.
Those are really cool because we've partnered with Hollins University the last 2 years because we offer a all sports for girls camp where each day girls, I believe ages first grade or second grade all the way to fifth or sixth grade, they're able to learn different sports from some of the athletes and coaches at Hollins University. But then we're also offering 2 specific camps for the first time, a week of volleyball camp there and a week of basketball camp. So
awesome.
It's been really cool to interact with our community partners, especially on the university level at Hollins, and really expose some girls in the community to whether it's a new sport or something that they're wanting to hone their skills in at the middle school level as well. So it's a really cool experience, and athletics has a really good opportunity for those campers to learn from not only the university level staff but some of our local high school coaches and players as well, whether that's a volleyball camp, basketball, baseball, you name the sport, we have it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the most special things, maybe out of all of the things we offer, but I think that just creates such a full circle moment that's really special because some of those instructors, I'm sure, were also kids going to our summer camps, and then now they're instructors and kind of raising the next generation of athletes in their sport.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, especially with our athletics camps, but even our summer camps as a whole. It's cool to see some of those staff who, you remember as a camper, because in my job, it's going out and highlighting these camps, and you get to know some of the staff, but it's really cool to see, some of those staff are like, well, what kind of got you into this job? Well, I remember being a summer camper at an athletics camp or at Greenbridge growing up, and it's really cool to see, as you mentioned, really those kids kind of coming up through the program, and then some of them, their first job is with us as well. So it's really cool to see that every summer.
Yeah. Well, I know we've touched on a number of things and that Kelly and Emma will touch on some more. Is there anything we have missed?
That's pretty much it. I'll leave the events to our tourism staff and look forward to previewing what we got the rest of summer and possibly into the fall.
All right. Well, I won't have you leave without bringing back a game. So Roanoke, Next Level Adventure.
Okay.
And yours is leveling up an adventure at Explore Park.
Okay.
Because I think people maybe know generally what it is, but I think people would be surprised at just the wide variety of things we have happening at Explore Park. And I think truly you could spend morning to evening just there as well.
Yeah. And it's really great because not only can you spend the whole day, but really if you're into the overnight adventure, we have camping amenities on site, whether it's Don's Cabins, where he has pod cabins, yurts, bunkhouse cabins, and a few RV spots. And then we also have Blue Ridge Campground, which right now we're down to 4 spots due to some construction going on in the park for the Roanoke River Greenway that's coming along in the next few years. But typically we'd have about 15 spots there, but we had to kind of reduce those down to 4. So still a primitive camp-in experience there. So you have wide variety of camp spots and different options if you want to really make a whole weekend of it, especially coming up in the summer. I know summer into fall is one of our more busy times at the park, and as you mentioned, you can spend a whole day there. From Treetop Quest, we have daytime and nighttime zips throughout the summer. We have Twin Creeks Brew Pub, which is open Friday through Sunday. They are also a partner with our Tavern Stage Music Series, which we'll talk about probably with Kelly and Emma coming up. And then we also have an 18-hole disc golf course, which is a championship level PDGA course that was recently ranked number 40 in the world by UDisc.
That's awesome.
So it's really cool to see that facility come along over the last 5-6 years. We host some tournaments out there with our partners at Roanoke Disc Golf and Jerry Duncan. And it's really cool to see folks from really all over the region and pretty much up and down the East Coast with some local tournaments be able to play Mayflower Hills Disc Golf Course. And it's got some pretty cool reviews, and it's really neat to see kind of how that's organically been promoted throughout the disc golf community, but it's also got some good credibility, with the outdoor adventure community as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the views there are fantastic, and it's a very user-friendly course. As someone who is not overly familiar with disc golf, I feel like I would be able to go out there and do it after just doing it one time.
Yeah, it's a longer course, but the views and kind of the different terrain is what is really cool about that, because you have your open field shots, but you also have you're in the woods for half of the course as well. So if you're looking into getting into disc golf, definitely playing a few holes here and there would be what would be advantageous. But also, as you get better and if you want a little bit more of a challenge, Mayflower Hills is really a great spot for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we really do have a little bit of everything over at Explore Park. And even if you wanted to add in the nature walks and things like that, we have that too.
Yeah, so 14 miles of dual use trail, whether that's hiking or biking. And it's really been cool to see, because back before all these amenities, it was really hiking and biking trails only. And really since 2017, 2018, when we first started getting some of our vendors in the park, it's been really cool to see that transformation. I mean, I grew up here going there when it was a living history experience back in the day. And then to see the vision that Roanoke County has had for it and been able to really, come through on a lot of the adventure plan that we have at Explore Park has been really cool to see, because, it's not only great for the folks in our region, but for folks who travel along the Blue Ridge Parkway. We're one of the only spots who's open year round for whether it's, camping, whether they need information at our visitor center. It's been really cool to see how that's grown to become really a gem on the East Coast, especially along the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you so much for all of your insight and expertise, and I look forward to continuing the conversation when we add in Kelly and Emma.
Sounds good. As always, thanks for having me.
So now joining Alex and me, we have the tourism team, 2/3 of it, from Roanoke County Parks, Recreation, and Tourism.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Kelly and Emma, I would love for you to introduce yourselves and just how the department is shaping now that we kind of have a department.
Yeah, so I'm Kelly Brammer. I'm the Assistant Director of Tourism, and I have two awesome people on my team. One is Eric, and he's not here with us, but there's Emma.
My name's Emma Lehman. I'm the Special Events Programmer with the Tourism Department.
Yes. Well, we're happy to have you both. To kind of start us off, I was thinking you guys could just highlight some of the vision that you and your team are working towards, since this is somewhat of a new initiative.
Yeah, we're very excited. One big thing that the county is really trying to focus on are tourism and events, things like that, to get people to not only come to our community, but to stay in our community, live, play. And we're really excited to be able to be a part of that through a lot of the stuff that we will be doing are event related, and to also show our parks to people and just, kind of show off our awesome assets that we have.
So I'd love for you guys to just talk a little bit about what makes Roanoke County such a great place to attract tourists and kind of the assets that we have.
So we have obviously so many wonderful parks that we are thrilled to be able to highlight through so many of our events and things that we get to offer, like programs through our rec centers and things like that. So, we also have this beautiful Explore Park, which is right off the Blue Ridge Parkway. So that in itself, just the location of that is pretty wonderful. Visit Virginia's Blue Ridge really likes to say that Roanoke is this metro mountain mix, and we really do have such a great mix of things to offer, where people can have that kind of city life if they want, but then they also have these beautiful open green spaces that they can play in, and it's a beautiful area.
I think some of the other things that Roanoke County has to offer, we have great experiences that you don't get everywhere, such as Treetop Quest. We have the Equestrian Center. We have all sorts of different activities that you can engage in that, like Kelly said, are just outside of the city, and you can get away for a while, and it's a lot of fun.
And what I love about Explore Park, and kind of something that we've always hit on, is, it's really great because it's, as we kind of brand it, it's, a destination for outdoor recreation, because we have our Treetop Quest. Well, guess what? You can stay on site and really spend a whole weekend just in the park, or venture out to downtown, or to the other end of the county and hike the AT at McAfee's Knob. So it's really a great array of amenities that we offer in Roanoke County, whether it's Explore Park or our other event facilities like Green Hill Park, which we've had a lot of traction at lately.
Oh yeah, Green Hill Park is a dream for an event planner.
Really?
Oh yeah, just a big wide open space. It has so many possibilities, things that you can just do that you might not be able to do in like a city setting. So being with the county has been really awesome to have Green Hill Park.
Well, so speaking of Green Hill Park, I know one of the new activities you all have started were Parkside Picks.
Yes.
I feel like there's just a lot to debrief there. Like, where did this idea come from?
Well, I will say I personally love yard sales, flea markets, things like that. And there's always people who want to do a little spring cleaning. So I felt like that was a really great mix. And again, Green Hill Park, big open space, so we can have lots of people there, which is awesome.
And it was a great turnout. We did have to postpone it for our rain date, but we still had over 70 vendors registered, and we saw probably close to
2,000?
2,000 people. It was a steady day. Everybody had fun. We had 2 wonderful food trucks that were serving empanadas and breakfast tacos and all sorts of fun things, and it was a beautiful day, and it was a great turnout.
Yeah, I feel like that is just the kind of niche thing that Roanoke area residents are looking for, and like what you talked about with the space, Roanoke County was able to pull that off. Alex, when you and I were here talking about it, I feel like in March or whenever you guys had first posted it, it already had such a great response.
Yeah, our social media that my team runs in marketing, Kelly's team is helping out a lot, kind of on the ground. But when we looked at that Facebook event, probably within the first week, you'd say we'd had at least 1,000 folks interested, which that's kind of a good bar for us to kind of measure. Hey, if we notice an event is gaining some traction on social media, and then some of our other channels that we post online with some of the other community calendars and things, it was a great response, and definitely shows that there's a need. Because I wasn't at the event personally, but the number one question that we've seen with some folks is, when's this coming back, and is it going to happen again?
Oh yeah, there's people wanted it to be biannually, and I think it's still going to be a spring event for us. But it's something where, because of this space, we're able to expand and have more people next year. We want to keep it a little bit smaller still this year, just so we can, work out the kinks of it and things like that. But it was awesome. So we're ready for it next year to get bigger and better.
Well, that sounds good. And speaking of getting bigger and better, we have a couple of events that I know were started last year, and now you all 3 are working towards growing them. So first, we have Tavern Stage. We've officially kicked off 1 event, right? Not 2. Yeah, we're only in May.
Just one. Yeah, one so far.
So how did that go?
That was a great night. I think it was a really good start of the summer. We had almost 200 people there. It was a little cool. Alex was there that night. It was a little chilly.
Yeah.
But...
For the middle of May, it was a little chilly.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a good way to kick off this season. We got 1 down, 4 to go, and we're looking forward to some of the other musical acts that we'll have up at Twin Creeks Brew Pub.
Yes. So which is the one you all are most excited for?
I have to say it correctly. Credence Clearwater Recital.
Yeah,
Okay.
not the revival, the recital.
I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that one is which one?
That is the last
Okay.
one.
No, that's August. That's
August,
August.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you like yacht rock, like myself, so Yacht Rock cover band, Empty Bottles, they're the last one. They were at Twin Creeks Brew Pub last year for the Tavern Stage and had a great turnout. They're one of the more popular local bands in the area, so that's the one I'm looking forward to.
I'm very much ready for next month in June. We're gonna have Floorboard, so it's an alt rock kind of thing, and then we have in July we have Carissa Joy, and I'm just all about a soulful woman who can just belt it out. So I'm very excited for that.
She actually made her appearance at Illuminite, I believe.
Oh, cool!
Yeah,
I didn't know
she
that.
was one of the individuals who sang Christmas tunes out at Twin Creeks Brew Pub this past year, which was really cool. So technically a returner to the stage.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Well, and then similarly, we've also brought back Food Truck Rodeo that was started last fall, and now we're doing that as a spring event. And we'll have the last one the day this comes out. So if you happen to be listening to this at lunchtime,
Yes, if it's 11 to 2, go to Green Hill Park. We kind of did a traveling series this time around, so we kind of tried to get to some different areas in the county. And so the last one of this season, I will say, is going to be at Green Hill Park, and we're really excited.
yeah. And so you say this season, does that mean that we potentially have this event to look forward to in the fall, or is that still?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
thinking about bringing it back like end of August, kind of running through until the fall. So we're excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we also thinking of like changing the locations like how we did in the spring, or?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
It's been a really great experience. Just instead of just having it at one, really getting to see the different people in the community and the different businesses even that get to experience those different parks. Where we were at Merriman Soccer Complex last time, and there were so many people who said that was their first time in that like park setting. And so I think that's a big reason to do things like that. It's not just to have a fun, event, but it's to show people some of these spaces that our department takes care of.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you guys had the picnic tables and umbrellas, so it's definitely meant to be a social setting. People can hang out with friends or family, coworkers, and have a little lunch outing.
Yeah, and Emma made an awesome playlist, so she got a lot of props for that.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. It was really great because especially at Merriman, that's one of the sites you only think of it being a soccer complex. We actually have another event coming up, I think, later this summer at Merriman.
We do, yeah. It's the Movies at Merriman. It's in July, and we're going to have a double feature that night. So we're excited to, again, showcase how you can use these parks in different ways.
So that's one of the new events we have. Are there other new events that we can look forward to this summer?
So coming up here soon, next month actually, we have the Hello Summer Festival at Green Hill Park.
Okay.
That'll be a lot of fun. We'll have an opener band, and we will have a headliner, and we will have food trucks, games, activities, inflatables for families. Just a really fun night. And then we also have coming up Smokin' Strings, which will be a lot of fun. We'll have some bluegrass music, some barbecue, get outside and have fun. And then, like you mentioned, we have the Movies at Merriman.
Awesome. Those are some really fun, I think, just over-encompassing events that really highlight all of the things that you all shared in the beginning of what makes Roanoke County so special.
Yep. We want to try and offer some different things, for different demographics, what someone who has a child of 2 years old or someone who's retired might also enjoy as well. So it's kind of trying a lot of different things, seeing what sticks and what we can build on and do differently.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, to that point, that's maybe where the success of Parkside Picks comes in, because you have your young adults who love to go thrifting. You have your people who are a little bit more experienced with shopping and they also love to go thrifting. So that's a very niche just approach that you all have to take.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a good time kind of dreaming up what different things we could do and also where we can do them at too, because just because you have this giant open park doesn't mean you want to use that same one every time, so it's fun.
All right. Are there any dreams for what the most fantastic event could be?
I have something that I am dying to do, but I kind of want to keep it close to the chest because I think it might happen potentially next year. So I'm manifesting it, but I don't want to share it. I'm very hopeful that some things can happen. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say my dream event. I was so excited when I heard about Smokin' Strings. Like, this is, like, to a T, my dream event that I am excited to work, but also just excited to be there. I love bluegrass music. You can't go wrong with barbecue. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be families and young adults and everything under the sun. Is just going to be a fun time. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, yes. Why don't you guys detail that a little bit more? Because I do feel like we skimmed over that in the list. So
Go ahead.
Okay. We are going to have actually two bands. So we're going to have a local band, Leon Whistler, They're the bluegrass band we're going to have for opening that day. And then also we're going to have a band coming in from North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And so they'll be like our headliners, we'll say. It's all going to be at Explore Park on the Twin Creeks, their brew pub lawn. So there's our awesome stage there. So, you know, not only will we have our concert series there, but we'll also be having some other kind of niche events. And then they're also going to be smoking barbecue that day specifically for this. So it's just going to be, I think it's going to be very chill, you know what I mean? And sometimes those are the best events where you can just sit back and listen to great music, eat and drink, and have a great time.
Yeah. Alex, do you have a dream event?
I don't know. I feel like I dream a lot about Illuminates, ironically, because it's something that's at the forefront of our minds really all year long. And I know, Kelly, you joined us right before Illuminates last year, got a little bit of a taste of it. And, you know, Emma, you've been working Illuminates, I believe, almost every year, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that as a department, it's always on our mind. And I mean, we're in May and into June now. So you're looking 5-6 months out, which is hard to believe we're already kind of halfway there.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that, you know, we're always thinking about on ways to improve the visitor experience, because we have folks from not only just Roanoke and the region, but we have folks from really all over the East Coast, and we've had some international visitors as well, which has been cool to see some of those statistics and see where folks are really coming from who are purchasing tickets. But it's really something that I'm looking forward to, because, you know, to see Kelly and her team and really a lot of our outdoor services staff kind of come together to make that event happen. What a lot of people don't realize is how much time it takes for these folks who we work with, you know, in our department to, number one, come up with an event, number two, really think through every single detail of the event, plan it, contact, you know, different vendors, contact different musicians, contact different local organizations in the community who can help that vision become a reality, and really see everything come to fruition. Because when you pull up to Green Hill Park for Kite Festival and you see that long line of cars coming in, you got your family, you're going to fly a kite, and then you leave, what a lot of people don't think about is, man, how much time goes into that. And it's really cool to work with these folks and really our whole department kind of come together as one. And, you know, whether it's in Illuminates, whether it's, you know, any of our events, it's really cool to see kind of the behind the scenes and the day to day, and being a part of that's something that's really special and something that we really enjoy here at Parks and Rec.
And one thing I'll add to what Alex was saying, you know, there is so much behind the scenes, and even for Illuminates alone, we have staff starting to install and load in all of these awesome features in September. And so, you know, it's hot and it's summer and all these things, but we're already on to Christmas. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah. So, like, for some of these other events that I'm going to say smaller, and by smaller, I mean time-wise, they're smaller. When do you start thinking about, like, Parkside picks? Is that, like, back in the winter, or were you able to be a little bit more spontaneous?
I think Parkside Picks started right around January, February, and then we really started developing it a little bit more like March, I would say, just because it takes time to, you know, open registration for vendors to sign up and make sure you have food trucks in line and all those things. But so that one probably wouldn't take as long as something like a Kite Festival or a Touch a Truck or Illuminates. Things like the Smoke and Strings. I never want to call an event easy because there's so much behind the scenes work, but those kinds, or Movies at Merriman, like, to me, those are ones that you can establish fairly easily.
Mm-hmm. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. I know. I just jinxed everything, didn't I?
Well, unless there are any other things fun in the works that you all would like to share, I have a game for us. We're bringing back the games.
Love a game.
Okay, so our game, Roanoke Rapid, it's been a couple episodes, I believe, since we have done this, but we have brought it back, and it'll be even more fun with 3 people involved. I think it'll get real rapid. So, how it goes, I'll say one thing, and you all say the first thing that comes to mind, just like Family Feud, except there's no right or wrong answer, so it's even better. Okay, first word is event location.
All right, on 3. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Green Hill Park.
I had a feeling. I was like, oh, wow, we just talked about this several times during the episode.
with a close second to Explore Park, because Explore Park has just a completely different vibe. Mm-hmm. But if you want, like, large scale, it's Green Hill.
Yeah. Okay, so large scale events versus small scale events.
All right, on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Large.
Small.
Go big or go home, guys.
Why'd you say large versus small?
So I love a small event. I really do. But then I don't know. When I see a large event and like a lot of people, you see it, to me, that's so much impact. And we were talking at Parkside Picks. There were so many times where I was just like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. I think I said it about 1 million times. And it's just because it's so satisfying to see it come together. So I think for a large scale event, that's like amplified.
Why did you guys say small?
I think I love large events. However, I love how personal small events can be. I love getting to engage with the community and talk to folks that are coming out for these events. I think that is a big highlight for me when working those small events.
Yeah.
I'd say small as well, because just lately, at least in my experience working with Kelly and her team, our event calendar has expanded quickly, which is awesome. But it's also more touch points for us to, engage with the community and really market ourselves, whether it's Parks and Rec or whether it's Explore Park or Green Hill Park specific. It's been really cool to, be able to be out in the community really more and get in front of more people and introduce some new events, which has been really fun to work on with them as a team.
Yeah. Okay, so winter events versus summer events.
1, 2, 3.
Winter.
Summer.
Fall.
Oh yeah. Actually, I change it. It's fall. It's fall. It's always fall.
If that's an option, I'm going to pick
Yeah.
fall as well.
Okay.
Us and everyone else are like fall.
Sorry to ruin the game there, but I
I
prefer
feel like
fall.
our answer is better.
Option C. Overwhelmingly. All right, so I did hear, though, I think it was summer, winter, fall. Is that how it
Yeah.
went?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so glad we're on the same team, Emma, because
Yeah.
it's like we're literally yin and
You
yang
can always
right now.
put more layers on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm sure during like Touch a Truck in August, I will be like, winter.
Well, having you worked at Treetop Quest probably like so many summers, I'm sure you're also just probably tired.
Less
of-
bugs, too.
Yeah.
Less bugs,
Yeah.
for sure.
But Alex, I do agree. Fall. I think fall, especially in
yeah.
Roanoke.
Yeah, sorry to ruin that, I guess, but fall in Roanoke, especially, with the leaves changing, and it's the perfect weather because,
beautiful.
you could throw on a quarter zip or a sweatshirt, but you don't need your winter coat, or you're not out there dying in the heat at Touch a Truck, which is really fun to go to, and it's really near and dear to my heart. But I'd love to hear back from you guys after your first Touch a Truck because
Stay tuned.
back in the day it was the last weekend in July, so we moved it back a few weeks, and we'll see how it goes.
We have a few very cool things happening this fall that we needed to move Touch a Truck into the summer. So stay tuned when I can actually talk about that. I have all these cliffhangers today. Sorry,
That's
guys.
good, though. That means more people will be tuning in to you all and your social medias and also the podcast. So it's good. It's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, teasers.
So last one is a recreation event or like a sit back and listen to music event. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Recreation?
Hey. Okay.
I figured y'all would pick music, so that's kind of why I went recreation.
I mean, I love music, but I also think there's something fun about interactive events that you can do hands-on things. Like, so Touch a Trucks with little kids being able to explore vehicles and things like that. I feel like those are the ones I tend to respond with more.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say nostalgia-wise, as a kid, I remember a bunch of those events compared to, going to music. But now that we're a little bit older, I mean, you enjoy. I mean, I don't know. You can always call up a friend and say, "Hey, let's go to Explore Park for Tavern Stage," and you have a good time. But like, going to Touch a Truck or a kite festival, or even going out to Explore Park for the day, that's a little bit more memorable, I guess.
Yeah. Engaging.
Or music where I can have a chair, because gone are the days where I'm standing the whole time.
Yes, I completely understand. Well, thank you guys so much for playing along with the game and for sharing your insights on all things tourism and fun events in Roanoke County.
Thanks for having us. This was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for